Hello, everyone to the Floating Earth podcast, and I'm here with Spencer Wilding. Hi, Spencer. Thanks for being here.
All right, mate. Yeah, thanks for having us.
No worries. So I wanted to ask how you got into the acting industry.
Well, I got into the acting industry. It was through the sports world, really. That was my journey. Because I thought to myself, right, how am I going to get into the films? At the time, we had nobody in the family that was in the industry.
Okay.
So I listened to my thoughts, my five gods, whatever you want to call them, and they said, right, get into the boxing, the kickboxing,
nice.
Get good. I became the Welsh and British kickboxing champion. Then I got signed up with a sports agency based in Crystal Palace at the time in London, and then I got more of an acting agent down the road. So that's how I got into the industry.
Awesome. That's really cool. So do you still do any of that whilst you act? The kickboxing?
I used to take a lot of classes. I've trained thousands of kids, adults over the years, but obviously with all this lockdown and stuff, I've closed the classes down now for about a year or two. And I've been busy with the film work and stuff like that. So, I do a little bit of one-to-one with people. When the gate opens up again, probably in the summertime, I might start some little classes here and there. Until the film work comes thick and thin for me again.
Yeah, that's really cool. So, have you got any auditions or roles in the works at the moment?
Yeah, well, I've got a film that's coming out sometime this year called Devil. We filmed that a year or two ago in Prague. So that was supposed to come out last year, but obviously with the COVID and all that, it got put back, and it's in post. So that's a good one. If you like your horrors, anybody watching this, if you like your horrors, I definitely recommend watching Devil.
Awesome, cool.
So I've got a strong character, and I just can't talk about it. And the auditions are starting to come through here and there. But it's good.
Nice. Really cool. Obviously, I know you for a variety of roles, but what was it like stepping into the role of Darth Vader in Star Wars Rogue One?
Yeah, it's one of them. It's not my first role. So I was like 40 odd films into it before landing that role, and it was awesome. It's an iconic character. It's the baddest bad boy on silver screen. And it was an honor to jump in that suit. With the few legends that have been in there before me.
Yeah.
Me and Dan, two of us played a part, and we smashed it for the fans, and I think everybody was happy. And I've done several shows since then. But it was a great one to have on the CV, mate.
Nice. Yeah, well, it's definitely one of the better. I think it's one of my favorite Star Wars films, Rogue One. So.
Yeah, Rogue One. You know what? They're all good.
Yeah.
But Rogue One, because Gareth Edwards is such a diehard fan of the trilogy and stuff like that in the back of the day, and for him to be directing a film like Rogue One, he loved it just as much as all the rest of us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, which is really cool to hear, obviously.
Yeah.
So there was did you feel a lot of pressure taking on a role like Vader?
Well, you know what? I wouldn't use the word pressure.
Okay.
It's just obviously we had to get the movements identical, but there's one spirit and soul of Darth Vader, and he uses his actors. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he jumps in your body, and then the magic takes place, and you become one with the Force. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally get that. That's awesome. Obviously, your height has obviously been a big factor in playing some really cool characters in the likes of Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, loads of other ones. So what's been some of your favourites to do over the years?
You know what? Everybody loves a monster. You know what I mean? But obviously, as actors, like to get out the costumes as well and get our face seen.
Yeah.
But luckily for me, in the 50 odd shows I've done, it's half I'm under a heavy prosthetics or an animatronic head, but the other half I'm playing myself.
Of course,
like a gangster or a pirate and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? But I love the Wolfman. I love playing the characters of Doctor Who. It was great to go and jump on the one of two of the first White Walkers on the first series of the Game of Thrones. Nobody knew how big it was going to be back then. So I feel very privileged for that as well. It's great working with these, such massive productions and the big budgets. You get the best of the crop.
Of course.
You know what I mean? So some of the makeup guys I work with, they're just incredible to sit down there. I've been lucky enough to be sitting in the chair with Rick Baker doing my makeup, and Dave Elsey and Lou and Goran and Brian and other great makeup artists. You know what I mean? I've worked with the best. I've worked with the best out there, and it's just great to be in their presence. You know what I mean? So it's nice. So it's a big, you know, it's teamwork. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And you're one of the cogs in the system. So it's great.
Nice. That's really cool to hear. So you obviously you're in Hobbs and Shaw as well, weren't you? Was it like a year or so? What was it like coming face to face with Dwayne Johnson?
That was cool, man. You know, I'm a fan of him anyway, him and Jason Statham. So to be in the same room and studios with the guys, you know, they brought me in as family, and I left as part of that family. You know, but I was on that show for 2 days. You know what I mean? So I was in and out. But they let me come in, and we made some fun. It was a very quick scene, but the fans liked it. And it was more showreel. It was showreel material, and it was it made the you know the you know what do they call it now? The trailers and stuff like that. It was all, you know, that I've been lucky. Even if a little cameos, he always seemed to make the trailers, which is great.
Awesome, nice, really cool. So what are some of your biggest? I wouldn't say biggest accomplishments. What are some of your personal accomplishments that you believe you've been able to tick off whilst you've been going through your career?
Well, you know, I battle with dyslexia, and which I've done hundreds of Q&As now. I always talk about the dyslexia because there's kids out there with dyslexia, you know, because I couldn't read or write till 32, 33 like that properly. Wow. You know what I mean? So I was a late starter, hence I was doing a lot of sports beforehand, before getting into the theory as such. But what helped me read more was more scripts coming through. And it's like the production, you know, the industry is waiting for me to get to that space before they offer me the other role. Do you know what I mean? So that's been one of my achievements, to get solid with my reading and things like that. And then the acting comes through a lot more stronger like that. Do you know what I mean? I've got the monsters down, but, you know, the acting's coming through nice and strong now. So it's great.
Nice. That's really cool to hear. I'm glad that you've been able to learn as you go on, I suppose. That's the best way of looking at it.
You're always learning to the day you leave.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? You're always picking up something here and there. And each character I play, it's got a different feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's different presence. So, you know, I'm not typecast for a monster, man. I'm doing all sorts of things. You know what I mean? So it's great.
Of course, you're Vader, you're a monster, you're a knight in Harry Potter, aren't you? Obviously.
Yeah.
So,
Did 3 Harry Potter films. I was the werewolf in the Prison of Azkaban.
Oh,
Played
wow.
one. I double-dagged with him 5 for a day or 2 when he meets up with the giants. And I was in Hagrid's suit there. And I played one of the knights, and definitely I was part 2. But then I played Death Eater and Greyback in Harry Potter Wizards Unite video game for the phones, for the iPhones. Wow. So I did that, and then obviously I did some other games like Lord of the Rings and Shadow of War and all that.
Oh, cool! That's really nice. You mentioned before we started the interview, obviously, about you were into building construction? You said. So
yes.
Was that prior to your sports days, or did you do it at the same time?
Well, the family that I have, there's a lot of plasterers, stonemasons, and you know, brickies in my family that I had. So I always laboured on the family. You know, okay. I was working in the security industry for 25, 30 years. You know, and then part of the parcel being a boxer and a kickboxer, you know, you get landed with them sort of jobs, which is great. It makes a great family and friends.
Yeah, of course.
But I worked in a steel factory when I was like 19, 20, something like that. And I was there for 12 months. But then an Uncle Mike of mine, he subcontract guys over to Holland, Rotterdam and Germany and France. Yeah. So I worked in Holland for 2 years on construction. Oh, wow. I used to do 3-month contracts, come home for a week, go back again, which I loved. It was great working on a 38-story building, the Beursplein in Rotterdam. Nice. Yeah, so it was lots of great memories there. Hard graft, but I liked the hard graft. Do you know what I mean? And when I come back, my mum got a little bit poorly, so I come back when I was like 23, 24, and then I started kickboxing. You know, and then that's when my dreams started to happen in the movie world. Then I could just start to see it build. You know, I had a great support in my hometowns, and you know, the local news channels are following us, and you know, I had everybody behind me, which was great.
Nice, that's really cool to hear. Obviously, I've seen you've done a few conventions over the years. What are some of your favourite moments for doing those? Like,
you know what? I go all over the world, literally all over the world. You know, I've had Stan Lee to the side of me, Gary Booth to the other side. You know, some living legends and legends that have passed. You know what I mean? And like I go to the small ones and I go to the big ones. You know, I've done the MegaCon in Orlando. You know, 250,000 people, Mexico, City there, Iceland, Germany, France. I've done everywhere, Japan. So it's what I like. I love meeting the fans, mate. I really like meeting the fans, and I love to see their cosplays, because these guys work on their cosplays all year for that one Comic-Con. Do you know what I mean? And I feel their passion, and I try and help them out as much as I can. Do you know what I mean? I'll get some pictures of them, share them on my social media and stuff like that. Yeah, and I've obviously chilling with the other actors as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's really cool. Nice.
I love, I like doing the Q&As as well. You know what I mean, over there.
Yeah. What's been? So you mentioned a few countries. What have been some more of your favourite countries to visit whilst travelling?
I've got a love for all of them, because I do a lot. I'm still active in the film world as well, so I go, I've filmed all over the place as well. For scenery, Iceland's got to be the one. You know what I mean? Iceland's unbelievable. You know what I mean? Working on the volcanic rocks and the beaches and in the caves. I love Chicago. Chicago had a piece of my heart. I worked in Hollywood. Nice. Worked in New Orleans on the Green Lantern, playing Kilowog. I played Kilowog, throwing Ryan Reynolds about and stuff. Working with Mark Strong. Yeah. It's man. I'm living this journey, and it's still going, so it's good.
That's really cool. So, have you got any? What's the future dreams and hopes and goals for you going forward?
Well, you know what, I played the Wolfman, I played Frankenstein. I'd love to play Dracula or in the Mummy films. I'd be like, tick them off. You know what I mean? But whatever comes, I'll just I'll smash it for the productions and move on to the next one. You know what I mean? So, but whatever. And if I go back to general work for a bit more, it's no problem, man. I'm very grounded, and I can jump in and out of different worlds. So it's great. It's
nice. It's cool. Is there any roles over the years that you've gone for that you would love to have taken on? For example,
I nearly played the Hulk once. You know what I mean? But a little bit of politics got in the way there, so they used the stunt team instead of bringing an actor on for it. So which is cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The stunt world are a lot better than well, I won't say better, but they're the whole package. Do you know what I mean? They do the acting, they do the stunts, they do everything. You know what I mean? So I've got they're still my family, the stunt world, and I get to work with them now and then, and they're confident with me what I do. If it's not too specialised, then I'll bring a double in.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Stuff like on the Ghost Rider and stuff like that, they brought a stunt driver in there when I'm driving the cars about just before it smashes. On Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance, I play Granick. So it's really cool to be for 1 minute, it looks like I'm driving the car. Do you know what I mean? And they bring the awesome stunt doubles in and just do the real thing, and then I crawl out the car afterwards. Looks like I've done the stunt.
Oh, nice. That's really cool.
So when it comes down to the fighting and stuff, I do all my own stuff there. But if it's too specialised, then they'll bring the professionals in.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Obviously, we started off with Vader. What attracted you to that role? Or was it just a generic role when you went for it?
Well, it was very, very secretive. We didn't know what we were going for at first. We had several self-tapes before we got to the studios, and then we started to get an inkling towards the main audition over in Palmer Studios. What draws me to that was it's another audition. You know what I mean? They didn't tell you who it was straight away, because obviously he was only rumoured to be coming out, Darth Vader. Do you know what I mean?
Right,
and it was I was on a year contract before I could talk about it. So when the rumour come out 12 months before, if I had £1 for everybody that asked me that question, I even have the Sun newspaper front doorstep me. Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
Asking me that question, are you Darth Vader? And it was, I can't confirm or deny. That's always what I stuck with, and I'm professional. And you don't let the secrets out. Do you know what I mean? What for a little bit of glory? Nah, you wait till it's your turn before the production release it, and you can talk about it to the fans. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. I totally get that. Yeah. So have you always been a lifelong Star Wars fan?
Well, I fell in love with the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it was. I like the other Star Wars, but I was the original trilogy. I was the old school. I loved them guys back then, and I've got to meet some of the original cast. And it's I was in Las Vegas on the Spencer Wilding Day over there, and I was with Todd Fisher, Carrie Fisher's brother. Oh. We were both under the sign, getting awarded certificates by the people over there. You know what I mean? And
Wow.
it's called Car Stars. Check it out, Car Stars. It's on the internet. You'll see us get awarded by the mayor and you know, commissioner and blah 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 blah. You know, it was an honour, man. And it's good. And they put 75 movie cars on, closed down the whole strip. 250,000 people turned out for the event. So it was it was pretty amazing, man. Yeah, great
awesome.
memories.
It's really cool. So, are you someone who likes to work on personal projects? If so, have you got any in the works?
No, you know, I don't think I'm in that space yet where I'm setting up my own films and stuff. But I'm always helping people around me with low budgets and you know, and things like that. If I can help them out and bring my experience and knowledge that I've picked up for the past 17, 18 years in the industry, I'll help out when I can. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Mm. And would you want to go into anything like directing, producing?
You know what? I thought about, you know, I think I'd have to go and do the training for that, though, and pick up the, you know, how to direct things. I can send direction to like movements and stuff. I've been credited as movement director on Doctor Who and things like that. Movement coordinator, should I say, not director. That's probably because I'm getting old now. I'll probably go down that route a bit more. You know, obviously carry on with the acting, but like I say, some of these monster suits, I can still pull it off and still fit for it. But you know, 5 or 10 years time, who knows? It might be a bit too much then. You know what I mean? Might go for the younger guy. But what they bring, I bring the experience that, you know, people just don't have, that just coming into the industry now. I mean, it takes them years to get that. You know what I mean? You can't learn that. You know, you can't learn that in college. You gotta experience. You know, put it
into practice.
Experience it. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. So out of all this, you know, you've been involved with like Harry Potter, Game of Thrones. Did you ever want to return later on? Obviously, you're in the last Harry Potter film, but like, did you want to return later on in Game of Thrones? Or
I do like to move on. You know what I mean? I play a character, move on to a different one. But you know, if I'm a little bit critical about a couple of characters I've played in the past. I'd like to go back in time and go, I could have done this a bit more. I could have done that a bit more. You know, but you know, I've met people like I've chilled with Robert De Niro and things like that, and Stardust. And another thing, I'd like to be, because I was a bit green back then, I'd like to be in their presence now and have a more interesting conversation, I feel. But yeah, man, it's just everything's about a timing, and you know, when things come together, it's probably the right time as such, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I totally get it. Yeah. Awesome. So through your acting career, who are some of your favorite people you've worked with? Obviously not disregarding if you didn't like anyone, but I'm saying like, who are some of the people you've really enjoyed the chemistry on set with?
All of them, you know, I haven't got a bad word for anybody, to tell you the truth, you know, and if something did pop up, they might have been having a bad day, you know what I mean? You can't, you know, give negativity out like that. But I, you know, the first jobs I worked with was Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, you know, and all the Harry Potter lot, and me and you know, we were singing Happy Birthday to. 1 second, let me just take this off here now. 1 second.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I've got a call coming through. So yeah, me and Alan Rickman were singing Happy Birthday to Daniel on his 14th birthday, man, on set. You know what I mean? Like, really cool. You know, how many people can say that? You know, and I've got to work with Dan again later on down the line on the Victor Frankenstein, playing the strongman in the circus, and playing the Prometheus the monster. You know, it's great to see the guys, you know, to grow up and become even more beautiful people, and see them still grounded. You know, it's great.
Yeah, of course.
You know I mean? Because I ain't changed from the day one. People know me. I'm still Big Spenge. I mean, from real.
Yeah. So, did you have any icons? People you looked up to when you were a kid?
Yeah, for sure. I loved. If I could go back in time, if the guys are still there, I would have loved to work with Edward Woodward, the original Equalizer.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I would love to be in like Monkey Magic, something like that. These people looked up to. I'd love to be in Wizard of Oz, playing the lion or something.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But things like that. Or Tin Man, I like that. Do you know what I mean? A bit of a kid at heart like that. Yeah. I got to work with Robert De Niro. I looked up to him for years since a kid, so that was all great. You know, I might have been around Michael Caine and Christian Bale, all the guys. I burned down Batman's house in Batman Begins.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? All things like that. And so, yeah, it's a bit of a cold.
That's right. Cool. Really cool to hear. So have you got any dream roles you'd like to play? I know you said obviously you'd like to tick off a few more boxes, but like...
Yeah, I'd like to play in a film, and I've said this several times, but I'd like to say that's playing a film like Heat, something like that, when you with Al Pacino and Robert De Niro, and I was the bad guy, and they were chasing me down, and blah blah blah. That'd be awesome, something like that, Cool. But I've got to work with some really cool directors, the Wachowskis on Jupiter Ascend and things like that, and all these other brilliant directors I've got to work with as well. So they know I'm out there. So it's just when that specific role suits you, and that's when it comes in. You know what I mean?
Awesome. I don't know specifically what your first ever role was, but when you got into that first role, did you feel, what was it like getting into that first acting role?
Well, I'm really good friends with Lady Alice Douglas, who's Earl of Queensberry's granddaughter, right? Yeah. Queensberry rules, the boxing and stuff. She gave me a taster of acting in the Almeida Theatre when I was like, I don't know, 18, 19, something like that. Okay. It was only a one night show, complete sellout, and it was a political play called Booty. Yeah, and I played a member of the public, and I played a prison guard. That was the first experience I had. When you climb into a boxing ring, it's the same sort of feel. You've got all these thousands of people looking at you, but you're just fighting for your life instead of, but then again, the same sort of presence that's coming at you with when you're on stage and stuff like that. Or, it's great.
Awesome. So, nice. So do you feel in your career there's still a lot more you but you want to achieve?
I just want to keep on doing good things, man, and moving forward and developing my craft, and leave some great memories for when, because we're not here forever, but films and that, they're going to be here forever, and TV. So you just, it'd be nice in 200 years' time, some kid pulls off one of my films and starts watching it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Spencer. I'm, read about him or studied about him a couple of hundred years, ago he passed. But, it's mad, isn't it?
Yeah. No,
this is our chapter now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's really cool. I've asked everything I want to, so thank you.
Okay, all right, no problem, man. Yeah. So what I do like to say to all the young viewers out there, especially if there's any dyslexic kids, do well in school, kids. Do as best as you can. It's a good time to talk about dyslexia now because they've got lots of different courses to help you out. It doesn't mean you're thick. It means you're pretty special. You know what I mean? You've got some gifts going on in there, and they'll help you find what you're really good at. Eat your sprouts. Be good for mum and dad. Get yourself a good job if you want to be an actor because you've got to feed your dreams. And be careful crossing the road.
That's a great message. Thank you, Spencer. Thank you.
No problem, man. Good luck with you. Good luck with your career as well, mate.
I appreciate it. Hope we stay in touch and we'll do this again someday. So
yeah, for sure, man.
Thank you. Have a good day, Spencer. Bye.
And you, mate. You take care, man.